So as she just mentioned, she's a belly dancer and singer, which is a first for the belly dance and first for Talented Tuesdays. So I'm glad to have you on the show, Helen. Thank you for joining us. For you guys that are tuned in, I see Lonnie Boo just joined in. Welcome to Talented Tuesdays. This is a good time to mention that the comment section is open. Feel free to ask questions. Anything that I'm missing, you know, you can ask away. But also keep the comment section positive. We want to keep the negativity out of there and everything like that, just like I say every week. So, you know, start off, Helen, belly dancing. How did you get into it? What sparked your interest? Like, why belly dancing? What sparked your interest with it?
Well, the main thing that sparked my interest was actually in middle school, transitioning to high school. I was 12 to 13 years of age, and I saw this group called Whirlwind Dancers. It was a group of about 15 girls, and they were just so amazing, and it sparked a fire in my soul. It was something that I've never seen before, and I was like, listen, I don't know what this is, but I need to learn it, and I need to be a part of this group. So, I learned a little bit about it, and I found out it was a type of belly dance. And when I auditioned, I didn't make it in the group. I was really sad, and when that happened, the rejection kind of motivated me to learn everything about this dance. And for the next year, I just studied really hard for it, and I looked at videos of Arab dancers, and I got training. And when it was time the following year to audition, the director, Christina Carano, ended up moving to New York. So I could never be a part of the group, but I fell in love with it so much that I just continued doing it. I never stopped.
So welcome, Ricky Fontaine and Stella. Thank you for tuning in. So I'm gonna bring up the story of Michael Jordan, because this is very similar to like how he didn't make his high school team, and he didn't even make the UNC when he played for North Carolina. He didn't even make the team his first year, and he had to walk on. And then all of a sudden, this player becomes the greatest basketball player in history. So you know, you have that motivation from not making something, not achieving something for the first time, and then that drive pushes you to do even more. And that's why I see you know, congratulations, because your dance troupe just won the international competition, right?
The Miami Belly Dance Convention. Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that experience and what that was like.
Oh, it was amazing. So the Miami Belly Dance Convention is one of the biggest conventions for belly dance in Miami, as well as the United States as a whole. People from all over the world, professional dancers, novices, belly dance connoisseurs come to this convention, and either to compete or to perform. My group, the Rockettes of Belly Motions, directed by Yesenia Lauzaric, ended up performing and competing, and we won. But we practiced a lot. It was a lot of long days, a lot of long nights, a lot of individual rehearsals, and we bonded a lot this year, and we ended up winning, and all of the competition was really fierce. So I feel privileged to be part of a group that could win.
About how often a week do you guys practice, and how long are practices like?
Well, the main rehearsals are between 1 hour and 2 hours, and that is once a week. But we also did individual rehearsals.
Oh, okay.
So those individual rehearsals could last anywhere between an hour to 2 to 3 hours, depending on what we needed to rehearse. And a lot of that group is fine-tuning, and our director, Yesenia, is very detail-oriented, and she always pushes us to be the best that we can be. So I feel like I've learned a lot just from being in that group. Even though I've been a soloist and a professional for so long, being a part of that group has taught me so much as well. Okay, so how long have you been in the Rockettes? 1 year. 1 year? Okay, and is it a new troupe, or have they been around for longer than you've been included in them? Yeah, they've been around for a while. I would say off the top of my head, they've been around for maybe at least 6, 7, 8 years. So for a pretty long time. So tell us about that experience, you know, being a rookie, joining a new dance troupe, and you have the veterans who have been there already. Were you welcomed, warm, open arms, or did you have to, you know, kind of like
play the field and, you know, show them that, you know, I belong on the team, you know, you guys are going to get used to me. What was that like?
Well, actually, it was actually an interesting experience because everybody got along immediately.
Okay.
Like, there's really no egos, and since I've been in the entertainment industry for a very long time, there's always some type of headbutting or divas or some sort of, you know, conflict between people because, you know, artists, we like to all think that we're the best, but this is one of the first groups, if not the first group that I've been a part of that never occurred. Everybody is so positive, everybody gets along. Sometimes we have differences, but, you know, we raise our hand, we say, excuse me, this isn't happening correctly, can we work on it? And it's more of like a constructive criticism thing as opposed to anything catty. With regards to your question about, you know, how was it going into there? I actually thought it was gonna be a lot easier than it was because I've been dancing for such a long time. But actually, it was like starting from square one because when you're part of a belly dance group, it's not about just you anymore. It's about the collective. So whereas a soloist is more of like an entity already, in a group, you're more of a cell that creates an entity, and the group is the entity. So it's just your whole mindset has to change.
Definitely. So guys, again, I'll reiterate because we have some new people that just tuned in. I see some new faces. Shout out Gabrielle Lemons. Shout out KJ. Welcome to Talented Tuesdays. Feel free to ask questions as well. The floor is yours to, you know, ask any questions that you like. When you first started belly dancing, what are some methods that you took to like get better and constantly push yourself to, you know, when you didn't make the team at first? What were some of the things that you did to get better so that you knew and you were assured that you'll make it next time around, even though it didn't happen, but you didn't know that until it happened? So what are some of the things that you did to get better?
Wow. Well, I used YouTube. I would look up all different types of dancers. I looked up, you know, dancers like Fifi Abdul, Suher Zaki, a lot of Arab dancers that were known as legends in that community, and I would just study their moves, and I would sometimes stay there in front of a mirror studying their moves at 13 for hours. Sometimes I had to do my homework and I'm there you know, in front of a mirror, like, you know, watching Suher Zaki, and it's like my mom's over there like listening. What are you listening to? But it's like it's true. When you do put in those hours of work and dedication, it really pays off. And then eventually, after studying on my own around the age of 14, I studied with an Arab dancer named Ilham, and I studied with her for several years, probably about 3 years before I moved to Miami.
Okay, and you moved to Miami from Orlando?
Yes.
Okay, and that's where you're from originally, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we were talking earlier about, you know, the differences between the belly dancing community in Orlando to how it is now in Miami, and there's a big difference where it's much bigger in Miami as opposed to Orlando. Can you explain a little bit why you think that community is much smaller in Orlando than it is Miami?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think the reason why would have to be because of the cultural diversity here in Miami. You have a strong influence of Venezuelans and Colombians who have a high amount of Arab influence. Shakira is Colombian, but she has Lebanese background. Okay. So, you know, even with the entertainment here, you have Layali, you know, you have other restaurants as well that are owned by, you know, people who are not only affected by the Latin community, but also the Arab community. So the Middle Eastern community is strong, and I feel like they have an influence on the people around us. So, you know, since you have a strong Black community, you have a strong, you know, white community as well. You have Caribbeans, Asians, people from all over that see the Arab influence, and they're like, you know what? I want to join that. I want to be part of that. You know, it's no longer just salsa classes or, you know, tango, but belly dance is also in the mix of that. So I think that's a reason why Miami is very popular for belly dance now.
Definitely. Definitely. You're the professional, but I probably would elaborate on something similar to that as well. It's definitely, we talk about this all the time on Talented Tuesdays, the cultural difference between Miami and other parts of South Florida. It's just Miami is such a haven for diversity. You find so many different types of people here. That's one thing that I like the most about Miami. So tell us what has been your best experiences. First, before that, how long have you been competing competitive? I mean, how long have you been belly dancing competitively?
Competitively, just this year.
Okay.
Just this year I started competing, but I've been performing for a little over 3 years, teaching for about 5.
Okay. And then performing, have you landed any paid opportunities as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then teaching, you teach classes. How often do you teach classes?
Well, right now I teach on a private lesson basis, so more like freelancing. I am looking for opportunities to teach as well in a home studio. I used to teach at FIU a couple of years back. It was a great experience. I met so many great people, and I'm looking for a similar opportunity. Actually, I'm going to be moving to Orlando in a month, temporarily, because my father is very ill.
Okay.
So it would be, you know, really beneficial if anybody who's in Miami and interested in learning belly dance. I'm thinking of starting up a YouTube channel, and I'm also going to be teaching online classes to those of you who are interested.
Sorry to hear that about your father as well. But I was actually going to ask that next, if you considered, you know, doing online classes and things like that. But you just answered that. Miss AK85 just asked if you only perform competitively, and she just said, never mind, you just answered that. And do you perform anywhere, like in Middle Eastern restaurants? Have you performed in restaurants as well?
Yes, I have. I used to perform at Taverna Opa. I've done performances at Hookita Lounge, which is a great restaurant. It's a hookah lounge, very chill vibe, very close to FIU too, and on A Street, great place. And in a few weeks, I'll be performing at Kababi Cafe, which is a Persian restaurant, and it's in Plantation. So if you guys can make it, I'll be performing on Friday the 28th at 8 o'clock. So I'm really excited about that.
And you can go get you some good food as well. Within this year of you dancing competitively, what has been your best experience so far?
That's a really hard question, because like every time I dance is the best experience. It's like a euphoria when you're doing something that you love.
Right.
Like you're always in that like happiness, you know. But I'd have to say the best experience so far was taking workshops at the Miami Belly Dance Convention, because workshops are just intensified classes where you learn from some of the greatest instructors. So you think that you're doing something right, but then when somebody from halfway around the world shows you a different way of doing it, and you do that one little thing, it's like, whoa, this just took me from here to here. So I would have to say the workshops at the Miami Belly Dance Convention, meeting all these great dancers from around the world and just sharing ideas.
What other things have you taken out of those workshops that you really, if you could point out one thing that, because you were very vague, if you could point out one thing that you really took out of those workshops that took you from here to there?
I would say the meaning of Arab words and the Arab essence. Because belly dance, now a lot of people in the community will say belly dance comes from one place or another. My personal belief is that belly dance is an Arab dance, and with Arab culture and Arab understandings, there's many different cultures and meanings within that culture.
Right.
It's like subcultures. So we had a dancer. I did a workshop with a dancer named Jihan Jamal, who is amazing, and she studied in the Middle East for so many years, and she just taught us the essence of walking in the Egyptian style, right? And we just walked in a circle for like a good while, just walking in a circle, learning the essence of how to walk. It changed the way I look at dancing, because before, I will admit, like, I'm very much into doing this and that and multiple things at one time. But she really taught how to feel the music and how to melt into the essence of the music. So it's not so much of, oh my gosh, what are these skills I can do, but more of how do I feel in this song, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. So we have a great question from Just Herson, who just tuned in. Also, shout out to Fanatic. I see that you tuned in as well. But Just Herson asked, how does belly dancing help you spread the cultural awareness of the Arab community, or spread awareness of the Arab culture?
Wow, it helps a lot. And the thing is, you know, in the belly dance community, you have some dancers who like to take belly dance and Americanize it or Westernize it, and that's not what Middle or Arab belly dance is. Nowadays, I feel like we've been privileged, especially in this part of the world, to really take something and run with it and do our own thing with it, and I totally respect that. My goal as a dancer is to show as much respect to the cultures as possible. So my purpose is to show people that belly dance is not just shaking your butt or like shaking your chest or like showing off. It's not stripping. It's not anything, I guess, vulgar, scandalous. It's an art form. It's no different than ballet or salsa. And that's really what I want to show people, is that belly dance is the feeling. And it's not what a lot of people in the West make it out to be. Right,
and that was a great answer to a great question. Thank you, Herson, for that question. So I understand that this may be harder to put in words, but what are some of the ways that you've noticed people try to, you know, Westernize or Americanize belly dancing?
So in the belly dance community, or not even outside of the belly dance community, there are people who look at us and, you know, they see an exotic dancer. And exotic dancers, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's two different things. Sometimes when you're performing, you'll notice people trying to put dollars in your bra or in your skirt. And it's not that they're trying to be disrespectful. It's just that they don't know any better, because that's what the media has taught them. They see music videos, they see movies, and that's what they make us out to be, is kind of like more like the fantasy harem girl. So that's one way that I've noticed that belly dance is kind of like, I guess, taken out of context. And, you know, there are other ways, like simply by people who aren't dancers using Halloween costumes, saying that they're belly dancers, but it looks like something else, something a lot more vulgar. So it's just about, you know, being more aware and being more understanding, and doing your research about this art form before, you know, taking it out of context.
Definitely. And we have another question from Herson, who was on a roll with the questions. He said, has Shakira taken away from what belly dancing is supposed to mean?
Honestly, I don't think she has. I think Shakira has done a good job of exposing and shedding a light of belly dance, or a light on belly dance. Because Shakira is part Lebanese, she's a natural at it. And I think that she's a great, excuse this, I hope you guys understand what I mean by this, but I think she's a great gateway drug to belly dance. Because for those of you who have never seen belly dance and you watch it,
she kind of warms you up.
She warms you up into it, and it's nothing too complex. It's simple. It's still nice. It's tasteful. And the next thing you know, you're going to your first belly dance class, and then 10 years later, you're performing on stage. So it's perfect.
So his piggyback to that was, so would you consider Shakira's belly dancing, quote unquote, a type of cultural appropriation? And that is such a Woke Wednesdays Herson question.
I actually love that question. Right. I do feel like there's a lot of cultural appropriation in belly dance when it comes to the Arab cultures. I say cultures because there are a lot of different cultures within the Arabic community or Middle Eastern community. Because we can't forget Iran and Persian dance is included in that, and that's not an Arab country. So I'll say Middle Eastern from now on. But I don't think that she is culturally appropriating simply because she is part Middle Eastern herself. I do think that what she's doing is more of a respectful fusion. So she takes her Latin culture and she takes her Arab culture, and then she puts that in and she mixes it, and it looks great. It's very entertaining. I don't think what Shakira is doing is appropriation at all.
Okay. And so I guess my next question would be back to, because I heard you use the word scandalous. What are some ways that you can inform people, especially parents who may have kids who may be daughters who may be interested in belly dancing, but they have that presumption that it's scandalous, and then they see their daughter interested in wanting to do belly dancing. How can you spread the awareness to let people understand that that's not what it is? Yes.
The way that I would spread it is just to say that you have to look at it with an open mind. Belly dance in and of itself is not a sexual or scandalous dance. In fact, belly dance was not originally performed for men at all. It was performed by women for women. It only started turning into something else after the Westerners came to the Middle East, and obviously the Middle Eastern business owners wanted a piece of the pie. They wanted to cash out, and that's when it started turning into something else, right? I just think staying educated and understanding that belly dance is just a normal dance, just like salsa, just like flamenco. I feel like that would be a way to let your children be able to experience the beauty of belly dance, because it's not a scandalous dance at all. And you don't have to actually dance it with your stomach exposed. You don't.
Great answer. So guys, as we move on to the next segment of the show where we start to touch more on Helen's professional singing, feel free to, if you have any more questions about the belly dancing, feel free to drop them right there, and I'll get to them as soon as I get a chance. And then feel free to ask any other questions as well. So let's touch on, when did you get into singing?
I've been singing since I was out of the womb. I can't remember the very first time I've sung. It's just something that's always been in me, and I love singing so much.
And then, okay, so I'm sure if you remember, who kind of discovered that singing was something that you were really good at?
I would have to say, I think it was me.
Okay.
I think it was me because there was a talent show in elementary school, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I practiced a song and I started singing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to hit the high note. And I hit the high note, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a part of this. And I think what really made me realize that I had what it took, I guess, was when I won 3rd place. Yeah.
You won in 3rd place?
I won 3rd place. I didn't win the competition, but 3rd place is good enough for that many students that were in it. So I was happy.
Okay. Wait, and did you say what grade were you in when you entered the talent show?
I was in 5th grade.
Okay. And that was your first time. Was that your first time singing in front of crowds?
Yeah.
Okay. And leading up to that, or I guess after that, have you taken vocal lessons? When did you start, taking vocal lessons to, even further your singing abilities?
So
if you even taken lessons at all.
Oh yeah, I've taken quite a few. I had classical training in 7th grade, and then all the way from 7th to 8th grade, I studied in choir. All of high school, I went to an art school. So I did classical training all throughout art school. I took vocal technique classes. I took a lot of intense studies in order to learn technique of the voice. A lot of performing, a lot of choir. So various educational outlets for the voice.
Oh, okay. And so Miss AK85, she has a question, which is, what artists influence your singing style?
Oh wow, there's so many artists out there who influence my singing, but I would have to say the number one would be actually Amy Winehouse. Because I listen to so many, there's amazing artists out there, but Amy Winehouse sang with her heart. Sometimes her technique wasn't what some people would call the best, but when you heard her, you felt. And I feel like some people with they can have a beautiful voice, they can have all the technique in the world, but if you don't feel it, you're just not gonna care. Yeah. They're disposable, you're not gonna remember.
Yeah, it takes a special type of artist to, have that, I'm not sure if empathy is the type of word, but, to be able to express that extra feeling to make you feel what they want you to feel while singing. So that takes a special person. You definitely get that with Amy Winehouse. We have a couple Amy Winehouse fans in the building, Herson and Miss AK85. She said, I love Amy Winehouse, rest in peace. So Herson said, can you sing something for us? And of course, are you still open to that, right?
Definitely.
So of course, when we get towards the end of the show, we're going to have Helen sing something for us. Because, belly dance will be a little bit harder to get, but you make sure when you catch us on YouTube on Thursday, we will have, I'll have some clips so we can see your belly dancing and the Rockettes perform, maybe even. If you have some clips of them as well.
Yes.
Yes, Amy had a very soulful voice. So where have you sang or performed besides your 5th grade talent show? So give us a couple of examples of some places that you sang.
Wow, yes. Okay, so I've done numerous competitions in Orlando. Orlando's Next Big, Central Florida's Next Big Star. I've also placed in Talento Brasil, which happens every year. It's a Brazilian talent show. I've done Orlando's Karaoke Star, many other singing competitions. I've performed at various restaurants. I've performed at Leali before, which is right over here at Doral. I've sung at so many different events, school functions, FIU football games, baseball games for various teams. Really so many different places, and each time performing and singing is a different experience. So I'm really grateful for that.
Now you mentioned you sang at Talento Brazil. Okay. Is that in Brazil or is it just a Brazilian talent show?
It's just a Brazilian talent show.
So then my next question would be, have you traveled to places other than Orlando and Miami to perform?
Yes.
And where has been your favorite place so far?
So far, California. Okay. Yes, California had a big show choir competition that I was a part of with my ensemble, New Song, and we ended up placing for that. So that was really good. Yeah, it's so interesting to see the difference between just the population here and then over at the West Coast, because we're all people, but just it's a different vibe, and it's great.
And what genres do you like to sing the most? And then what's a genre that you may eventually like to try sometime in the future?
Well, I've sung R&B, pop, Broadway, classical, opera, Latin. I really do all different styles. The one style that I've never done was screamo. Yeah. So
can one sing screamo?
I have no idea, but some people, they do it really well. I would say I would love to get screamo off of my bucket list to call myself a complete singer, but I will say that one style that I don't get to sing a lot is classical, but I have sung it before. It would be nice to be able to sing it again.
Nice. Hey, shout out to my Cheney family that remember that time Yuri went through his screamo phase. That just reminded me, and that was hilarious. So, real quick, I guess we're going to backtrack just a little bit back to the belly dancing for a quick second. Person had a question regarding it, and he said, you said belly dancing comes from the Middle East. So are there any overlaps between Islam and belly dancing?
That is an amazing question.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a lot to say about this. I feel like I can't do so much justice to this question because I'm not Muslim, nor am I Middle Eastern. But I will say that there's a big misconception in the West that all women in the Middle East are oppressed and have to cover up. That's not the case. If you look up, Egyptian music videos, Lebanese music videos, if you have the time, look it up tonight, and you'll see what the culture is really about. There is a difference between belly dance and Islam. Islam is obviously a religion, and belly dance is more cultural. So it would be the same way as, for example, you have a lot of people who practice Judaism in America. But also in America, you have 4th of July barbecues where you cook ribs. So in America, people eat ribs, but in America, you also have a lot of people who practice Judaism who don't eat pork. So it's not interconnected. It's two separate things. So would there be some people who practice Islam who would not really like belly dancing? Of course, but there are many people who practice Islam who belly dance themselves. So it's one is a culture and the other is a religion. So I hope that answers the question.
That was a great answer. So and Hurston, having a little hubris, said I have amazing questions. So do you like Tori Kelly?
I love Tori Kelly.
Now, her name sounds familiar, but it's not ringing a bell for some reason. What's this Tori Kelly's song?
There's one that I really love. Okay, it's when it's like on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the one about how she likes him, but he likes somebody else, or that they're just friends.
Help us out, Hurston.
Help me out. It's like man, it's tough because I know this song, and this is actually the one Tori Kelly song that I'm crazy about. But yeah, you know what? I'll keep it in my head, and then when it comes up, I'll just
blurt
burst
it out.
Yeah, I'll just burst out in song. Yeah.
Hurston just gave it up. He said, "Dear No One."
No, it's not.
It? Okay.
It's not Dear No One.
All right, and relax. This is not Bash Q hour for not knowing who Tori Kelly is. So yeah, just blurt it out when it comes to mind.
I will.
Is it All in My Head?
Yes. Is it real or is it all in my head?
Yeah.
My head. Baby, is it real or is it all in my head? I love that song. Now, do you coach for singing lessons as well? I have. I've always been open to offering my services to people. So far, I've only coached 2 people, and they're great singers. And what I like to do, my style of teaching, is about taking what you have and just expanding it. I cannot make somebody who sounds like Justin Bieber sound like Michael Jackson. I can make somebody who sounds like Justin Bieber maybe sound like a better version of Justin Bieber. So I hope that answers the question. Like I can take what you already have and expand it because I believe in making you a better version of yourself and not changing something.
Right. Okay. That's a very good answer. So do you have any special projects that are coming up? It could be either belly dancing or singing or anything.
Yes. So I have 2 special projects coming up. With singing, it's more of these past few years, I've gone through a lot of life changes and I've been writing a lot. So I actually don't have any of my written material out because I want to just protect it, copyright it, get all that good legal stuff out of the way, and then I'll be releasing that hopefully within the next year. With regards to belly dancing, I do have a competition coming up called Rockstar, where you are all invited. If you're in the Miami area, you're all invited to come. It's in early October, so I'll be competing in the Starlet division. And also I am developing a type of belly dance fitness that meshes belly dance with Pilates. So it's not traditional belly dance and it's not traditional Pilates, but it's a mesh of the 2. So it utilizes the moves of belly dance in order for you to get a toned body. So for those of you who are interested in fitness, I will be putting those details very shortly.
Okay, that sounds splendid. We got a lot of people who could use fitness, and fitness is important, especially dance fitness, because it adds that extra pizzazz that makes it more fun. Because a lot of people have a hard time staying fit and staying motivated to get fit, but when you add dance to the equation, it pushes people a little bit. Maybe I can try it because it's dancing, and dancing is fun. Even if you don't know how to dance, people love dancing. So I'm glad you mentioned it earlier, the copyright and stuff and everything. Like, what's that process like for someone who may be facing, may have had their pieces stolen or also wants to avoid that happening? What's that process like, getting some pieces of yours copyrighted and protecting yourself legally and everything like that?
Well, yeah, it's a long, hefty process because you have to protect yourself on the lyrical side as well as the melodical side as well as your beats. So the instrumental music that you use, who's your producer, what are they offering you, and is their material, protected and copyrighted and made specifically for you, or are you using a beat off of YouTube? All of those things matter. Your melody, that needs to be taken care of. You need to protect that legally. Your lyrics, you need to copyright those as well. So with music, you have 2 main companies. You have ASCAP and BMI. Now, I'm just learning this for myself regarding it, so I might not be completely accurate, but ASCAP is known a little bit more for the movie side of things, so when you're putting something for a soundtrack, and BMI is more for like hits for the radio. So you want to be registered for BMI. You want to have all of your ducks in a row first, and then come out with your music, because that way you'll be making money and at the same time your content is protected. Wow. However, this takes an investment. So right now it's about financial planning first and making sure I have the money to do everything that I need to do, and then the rest of my money will be invested in those things. Okay.
And what's that number looking like roughly for a person who's expecting to, make that financial investment?
It can be in the thousands for everything.
Okay.
Because we're looking at the $200 to $300 we're using to copyright an album, several songs, and then the money that it takes to invest in a good producer. And then we're looking at, the studio time itself. So not just the music that's produced by the producer, but the studio time. So that I'm saving up $1,000 just for that project. And once that's out, that will be my baby, because I have so many things that I want to say, so much on my mind that I've put into these songs. So it's something that I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate to.
I'm excited.
Thanks.
I'm excited. So, guys, as we're starting to wrap up Talented Tuesdays for this evening, I just want to remind you guys the comment section is still open for you guys to ask your last minute questions, everything like that. So feel free to ask away. Feel free to drop comments as well. So, what's next? Do you have any, what are some of your 5-year goals, and then what are some of your 10-year goals?
Yes. So my 5-year goal, actually, hopefully within less than 5 years, is I want to the fitness program that I was mentioning before. I would like to have it trademarked, and I'm going to be making a YouTube channel teaching people this method once it's trademarked. And I eventually would like to turn it into the next Zumba. Like, how Zumba is for like Latin music? That I kind of want to have a Zumba for belly dance music, for Middle Eastern music.
Okay.
And that's I have a name, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting until everything gets trademarked, but you'll be the first to know.
Okay.
I want to open up a studio and teach, and I just want to get as many people into the art of dance and music as possible. And I want to inspire people, especially young girls and young children, that you can do anything that you set your mind to. Had you asked me maybe like 5 or 10 years ago, oh, would you be performing in the Miami Belly Dance Convention? That was a dream for me, and I'm finally living my dreams and, working on goals. So, that's the 5-year plan. I think the 10-year plan is going to the top, traveling the world and teaching as many people as possible about this art form and singing around the world. I don't want to ever stop. There's no cap. I just want it to keep going.
Okay. Oh, hopeful collabs. I wanted to ask you that. So do you have any people that you really would like to collaborate with, whether it be the belly dancing, whether it be singing? What are those looking like?
So for belly dance, I've always, one of my biggest inspirations, modern time, is Jelena. Jelena is the organizer of Belly Dance Evolution. Amazing belly dancer based in California. I would love to collaborate with her. She's absolutely amazing. And then for singing, for music, there's so many inspirations that I have. I would have to say, of course, Alicia Keys. I would love to collaborate with Alicia Keys. She's great. But, on the Latin side of things, India is a great Latin salsa artist. I would love to collaborate with her. And there's a Brazilian singer that I'm in love with. She's got just the best voice ever. Her name's Marilia Mendonça. I would love to collaborate with her. And there's so many more, but I think those are the top 3.
Okay. And I'm going to look up 2. I know Alicia Keys, but I'm going to look up the other 2 as well.
Definitely.
So I have one more question for you, and that's the red pill or the blue pill. I ask this question every week to all my guests. And you take the red pill and you go forward 10 years, but you have $5 million liquid in your bank account. Now you can either take the red pill or you can take the blue pill, which you'll go backwards 10 years, but you know everything that you know now. Which pill are you taking?
But I go forward 10 years and I have the 5 million.
Forward 5 million, back 10, everything you know.
I think I would go forward, not even for the money, but just the fact that I wouldn't be the person I am today had I not made the mistakes I made. And I think it would be a very boring life had I known everything I knew now. I've made mistakes. Bad things have happened. Good things have happened. I've had a lot of accomplishments and a lot of disappointments in my life. But I feel like that is life. And that is how you grow. And that's how you motivate yourself to keep going. So definitely not going back. Definitely the red pill going forward. And I get $5 million. Right. That's pretty nice too.
Shout out to you for bringing a new perspective to the question. You were the first person that brought that type of, like, you basically said the money was a bonus. You were just like, that's a new perspective. How I didn't even think about that, you know, going backwards. Yeah, you know everything that you know now, but you know, you said it would be a very, like, yeah, the mistakes that you made, everything that you've done leading up now made you the person that you are today. So that's a very dope perspective that you brought into it. So guys, seeing no extra questions, I guess now is the time you can plug yourself in, tell everybody where to find you at, what else you have going on. If you have any events coming up, feel free to, you know, reiterate that now, and the floor is yours.
Will do. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you so much for having me. My very next performance will be a ladies' night event, so it's open to all girls. Sorry guys. But that will be this Sunday, September 16th, at Dar Tagine, which is in Broward. It's a Moroccan restaurant, so that will be the ladies' night with dance. I'll be dancing. And my next performance after that will be at Kababi Cafe, which is on Friday, which I believe is the 28th. But yeah, it's just the following Friday, not this one, but the following one. And that's open to the public. You can bring all of your guests, whoever you want to bring. It's called the Summer Belly Hafla at Kababi Cafe, also in Broward. I'll also be performing at Rockstar, which is in the beginning of October. So that's spelled RAKSTAR. I would love your guys' support since I'm competing. And with regards to singing, I do post a lot of my covers for music on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C/Helen Sings, or you could look up Helen Sings on YouTube, all one word, and you should be able to find it. And last but not least, my Instagram handle is helensings.xo. So that's Helen, all one word, sings.xo, and you can follow me there. I post everything that I'm doing on there. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching and asking all those awesome questions. And thank you for actually. Another one of my favorite singers is Mariah Carey. I think that she's just fabulous, and I relate to her music a lot. So I'm gonna sing one of my favorite songs, and it's very inspirational to me, so here it goes. There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you'll cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is lost, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in and you face this world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. Then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is lost, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Thank you guys so much.